Hello, my name's Courtney and I have wanted to start doing videos for YouTube forever, and for years and years and years I have repeatedly talked myself out of it or convinced myself that it is not a good idea and that it just wouldn't be worth it. But I've decided that I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to try. So I currently live in a new build home and I like to decorate it old worldy. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, what on earth is the point? Why buy a new build that is a complete blank canvas with no character, no individuality, and spend all that time making it look old? I hear you, and I've been asked this multiple times, and I have multiple reasons for it. So the first thing is that the old home, old charm, I've done it. I fell for it and I loved the idea of it. When me and my husband, we bought our first home, we went for a little old home. It wasn't the oldest, I mean, I think it was 60s, 70s built, but it was an older home and it did have a lot of character. It had parquet flooring, it had a brick built range. It was lovely. It was a lovely, charming little home, and it was an endless pit of money. It was completely. When me and my husband bought our first home, we were kids, we were young, we were engaged, there was just the two of us. And the prospect of looking at that home and all of its potential and pulling it apart and putting it back together was so exciting. I love a home renovation. I love decorating. Anything that I can do that is creative or constructive to a home or a room, you sign me up. I love it. But this home actually I think became a little bit more than what we bargained for. You know, you buy an old home and there's this thing at the moment where you say you'll never hate anyone more than the old owners of your home, whoever you bought your home off. And it was such the case with this. My family used to refer to that house as the house that Jack built. Every single time we had wires that were live but didn't connect to anything, they just came from the main box. We had live wires running next to pipes. We had pipes that instead of just went from point A to point B, they went through every single letter of the alphabet all around the home instead of them just connecting. We had lights that had been installed in our kitchen where the old owners had actually cut out parts of the support joists in the roof and the ceiling to actually install these lights to get them where they wanted. So it was extremely unsafe. We had to do a lot of work to actually get it safe and livable before we could even put our stamp on it. Now, during this time, we lived there for 5, 6 years potentially. During this time, we became a 3. We welcomed our baby, and I didn't end up returning to work after my maternity. We were in COVID. We had a lot of problems in life. We had bereavements, and yeah, so I just took the time, and during my time whilst being a new young mum, I worked on the house. And we got to a point towards the end of our, I think it must have been the end of our 4th year there, where we must have spent roughly around £40,000 on this old house. And on the face of it, it looked lovely. But I was done. I was so done. There was still so much more that needed to be done to this house. And I was just checked out. We had spent so much money and time and energy and effort on this house that we were beginning to miss out on life. We didn't have holidays, and we couldn't have our day trips, and we couldn't have all these other wonderful memories because everything that we owned went into this house. And I was just checked out. we were a young new family. I wanted the holidays, I wanted the memories, I wanted our kid to experience everything instead of just consistently staying home and decorating. So we made the decision to move, and we considered a few different things, but at the back of my mind for me was always going to be a new build, purely because it's new. It's new, it's a blank canvas. You get to choose your floorings, you get to choose certain aspects of certain things. Like for myself, I chose my tiles in my kitchen, and I chose a sink to match my tiles. Everyone else on the row had a stainless steel silver sink. I hate stainless steel sinks, so I asked if there was a white version that I could have that would match my tiles. Yeah, perfect. He managed to get me a tile at no extra cost, a sink, sorry, at no extra cost. He put that in. And we also had our natural wood tops on our kitchen counters, which are stunning. I love them. And we got to choose our carpets as well on the stairs, landing and bedrooms. We got to choose our floorings in our bathroom. We got to choose all of our tiles in our bathrooms, kitchen. I just loved it. Now, with me, obviously with new builds comes the horror stories. I was adamant I was not going to buy a new build off one of these big new estates that they build. You know, they buy like a huge plot of land and they develop and they have lots of houses. I just knew that wasn't for me. I wanted the new build home. I didn't want the new build estate, and I knew that would be difficult, because as soon as you start going into new builds, you see all of your big developers like Redrow and Laval and Barrett's, I think is another one. Taylor Wimpey as well. They were building one not far from us at the time, and we went to view and we was looking, and it just did not sit right with me. So I took a long time researching new builds, and I actually found a local family run business. They've been doing this for years, and he actually would buy small plots of land and he would build houses. Him and his family would build houses, but he would only build 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think he's ever built more than 8 on a plot. And the reason that I liked this idea was because there was no rush. There was no deadlines. There was no corporate leader breathing down their necks. It was their business, it was their land, it was their houses. So they weren't in a rush to throw up houses. And we went to view one of his developments that was very near the end. We walked through one of the homes and we fell in love. It was gorgeous. And yeah, we went home, we went and spoke to an estate agent, we got our current house valued, we rung up, spoke to the builder about his houses. All of the other houses on the plot that he'd had previously were sold. He built on the previous plot, he built a row of 3 terraced and a semi-detached when there was the 2 houses. There was one available in the semi-detached. We went, we viewed, we asked if we could, and it had sold. We'd missed out. So we were like, okay, well, you know, we've still got our house valued, we're still going to go ahead, we'll put it up for sale, we'll see what happens. But we stayed in contact with the builder and found that he'd actually purchased a plot of land not too far away from where we already lived, which was ideal because I didn't really want to move too far because we kind of created this life where we were, and I enjoyed where we lived. So we went, we viewed the plot when it was just dirt and they were starting to lay out the foundations. And yeah, the only difference is that we now live in a terrace apart from a semi-detached, but they are built identical, and we live on an end terrace and there's only 3 of us. And he also built 2 extra bungalows as well. So there's a row of 3 and 2 bungalows. Wonderful. But we went in and we viewed all along the way. We got our house sold And then we moved in. It was wonderful. We moved in, I think, on the 18th of December, and then we had Christmas, so it was chaotic. We didn't bring a lot of our furniture from our old house. We sold the majority of things. We only kept the essentials. And yeah, so we came in, we had no sofa, we had nothing. We literally covered our floor in blankets and cushions, and we put the Christmas tree up because priorities. It was wonderful. And we've been here now, this December coming, it's currently July, so this December coming it will be our 3rd year in this house, and it's pretty much unrecognisable. I have decorated the majority of rooms. We've dug up our garden. Our garden is still very much a work in progress. You can see a little bit of it through the back window. But I have so many plans and I'm really excited, and I think maybe this is kind of what I want my YouTube to be. Styling old charm in general, but specifically in newer properties. I think there's not really a lot of inspiration out there for new build homes. I think that new builds very much become beige or grey, very minimal, and please don't think I'm saying that there is anything wrong with that. There is not at all. When we first moved in, I went beige because I didn't want to come into my house and start throwing paint on the wall and ruin things. I wanted to just enjoy it for what it was at the time and sit with it and kind of figure out the movement of the house, the flow of the house, how we would use certain rooms and what kind of things could fill the spaces. Before I started chucking things on the walls and bringing in furniture, I really wanted to just kind of feel what the house was. So I was beige for the first year, and it was quite cozy. Don't get me wrong, I did like it. It was very cozy. It was very warm. It was very welcoming. It was very bright. But after a while I was starting to think, right, okay, now we could do this and we could do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've made a few mistakes along the way. This room that I'm currently sitting in, I painted black. Loved it at the time. But then realised actually I prefer my black furniture and I prefer my black accents, and I didn't want it all to blend. So I switched to a brown so that I can make my things pop. And this room is actually the best room I think I have ever decorated. I adore it. It's not finished, but I love it. It's so cozy, it's so warm, it's just beautiful. I adore it. But I use a lot of found things. I use a lot of old things. The majority of things in this room were free, and I think I just kind of want to share a little bit of inspiration for other ways of decorating. I love an antique, I love vintage, anything I can find for free, you name it, I'll grab it if I can make it work in my home. I like trinkets, but I don't like clutter. I love a cozy home, but again, I don't want it to feel overwhelming. And I love an upcycle. I'm really crafty, I'm very creative, and that really does shine through in my home decor. I love a boot sale, I love an antique store, I love a charity shop, I love Facebook Marketplace. Anytime anyone's giving anything away, I will have a look. Like if there's a chance for me to have something for free, even if it's broken, I will fix it and I will use it if I want it and I know it will work in my home. So I think really I would just really like to share my creative processes, who I am, what I do, how I decorate, and I am well aware that it's not going to be for everyone. You know, I have a lot of people who view my home or come into my home and they're like, it's amazing, I love it, it's wonderful. I couldn't do it in my house. I wouldn't feel at peace, but I love coming to your house and experiencing it. I have some people who walk through the door and go, what the hell? How can you live like this? This is awful, it's old-fashioned, it's ugly. And everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's perfectly fine. I am a little bit of a weird girl. I never really fit in with any kind of niche or clique or cliche or stereotype. I really love my heavy metal music. I was a Tim Burton child, but I love my garden and I love nature and I love hiking. And I love going to, like, I love travelling, I love going to all different places, I love going to the Disney parks, I love going on an all-inclusive Spanish holiday. There are so many places in the world I want to visit. But yeah, I'm just kind of a mix of things, and I think that, you know, we can all kind of be a little bit unique. But what I actually want to do, I thought what would be quite nice to follow on from this introduction, is for me to give you a tour of my living room, which is what I'm currently sat in, because like I said, it is my favourite room that I've ever created out of my old home, out of my old bedrooms when I used to live with my mum. This is the room that I feel is the most beautiful. And again, if you don't feel like it's beautiful, that's fine. I welcome constructive criticism, I welcome conversations, I welcome confusion. There's not really a space for me. If you're just gonna be horrible, I'd prefer you didn't. Invest that energy into something different. I don't want to hear about it. If you're confused, you don't understand, you have constructive criticism that you could offer to me, feel free, wonderful. I'm open to that and we can have a conversation. Just don't be a bully. There's enough mean boys and girls in the world. We don't need any of that here. I want this to be a nice, inspirational, creative space, and you know, I'm open for the conversations. But I thought I would take you on a little trip around my living room. I will show you all of the things that I've got for free. I'll show you all of the secondhand things, how I style things, and yeah, we'll just go from there and see what you think. So this is where I'm going to start, just because this is where I was sat down just in front of talking to you. So I thought it'd be a nice place to start. So over here I have my large Fortnum & Mason basket. I have had this for years. This was a toy box, it was a blanket basket. When we moved into this house originally, it was at the top of the stairs and it used to hold our towels. Recently I decided to bring it down here because I thought, what a statement piece. And this is actually where we kick off our shoes, because our French doors are literally right here to go into the garden. So that's what that's for. Then here I have my next Barnaby Bear curtain hooks. I have had these since we moved in. They were originally brown, but I decided to paint them gold. Why, I don't know, but okay. I think maybe because actually it blends in with this that I have. So this is an old wooden sign. I purchased this at my local antique store and I think I paid about £40 for this. It's huge and it's heavy and I adore it. I studied photography. Photography is a huge personal passion of mine, and I am obsessed with the Victorians, the Victorian era for decorating, the way the Victorians did Christmas and how spiritual the Victorians were as well. I love everything about the Victorians, so as soon as I saw this, I loved it, I needed it. So that lives there. Then I have my black curtains and my black curtain pole. And then the colour on my walls, I absolutely adore this colour. I painted my wall in this brown and it made me fall in love with the colour brown. Brown is my entire identity at the moment. I love it. And this is from Valspar and it's called Willow Warbler. So what I actually have in this corner here, my statement piece is my antique chair. I purchased this off an antique dealer on Facebook Marketplace and I only paid £30 for this chair. It's stunning, and I think the reason I loved it so much was because I thought it would look lovely here underneath the sign. Oh, sorry, I keep moving the focus with my finger. but these kind of patterns here on the signs I thought would tie in really, really lovely. So I love it. I think it's cozy, it's perfect. Then underneath I have my vintage suitcase. I bought this suitcase from a Christmas fair when I was I must have been about 17 or 18 years old. So I've had this a very long time. I mean, I'm 31 years old now. So this has lived with me at my old home. It's lived in my bedroom when I was a child as well. So I just love it. And it's got all these trees on, and if you pull it out and stand it up, it's actually got like a forest walkway. And there's a man and his little border collie walking along, but I just love it there and underneath for now. I do use that as storage, but I'll show you in a bit what's in there once we tour. Then on my chair I have my timeless teddy, and he's from Build-A-Bear. Now he's very special. Not only is he adorable, but he's very special because if you press his hand, there's a voice recording in there of my sister laughing, and my sister passed away 6 years ago. So he's just very special. He lives there and he's kind of like a little bit of the home. So like if ever we have a moment where we're thinking of my sister, we just go give him a cuddle, so it's all good. Then next to my timeless teddy we have a little embroidered cushion. It's got like little bunnies on and an alphabet, and I picked that up for I think about £3 off Vinted. Vinted is wonderful, but I'm heavily inspired by the how the Americans dress a lot of their homes in primitive style, and that just screamed primitive sampler to me, so it's wonderful. I don't think it's going to live on this armchair long term because I think that it blends in heavily. Ideally I would like a cream cushion with some frills to kind of put at the back and then sit Teddy in front of, so I'm not sure where that will move, but it's fine for there for now. Then at the side here I have my wooden vase that I purchased from the range. So not everything in my home is old. I do use a lot of new things that look old or reproductions. That is fine, especially if you're waiting. If you decorate in old style, you're not always going to have things available that you always want. It is a waiting game, and that is part of the fun. You know, you can wait years for a certain thing, so it's fine to fill your gaps with other things while you wait. So I purchased this from the range. I bought it home and I coffee stained it. I did make a reel on my Instagram showing the process of what it looked like before and after. If you want to have a look, I can put the link to it down in the description, that's fine. But then inside, originally I had some fake hydrangea in there, but then my alliums that I'd grown in the garden had dried out and I was trimming them down, and I just thought these are too beautiful to get rid of. They look like fairy ones. So I just stuck them in there. And I think next year, if my alliums regrow and dry out again, I think I will add a few extras into them as well. So you just kind of got to use what you've got and be creative and always be thinking outside the box. Then next to the chair, I have this antique table which I picked up at an antique shop that's not far from us. And then I purchased a lamp because I wanted a bit of coziness and a bit of light in this corner. That lamp was from the range. Next to the lamp I have a set of antique keys. I will go over in a bit and show you in depth what I have. And then next to it I have like a little cameo thing, and then a like little glass jar. It's Yankee Candle and you put like the tea lights in. And I got this and another one exactly the same from a reuse shop at local tip dump waste disposal unit, whatever you call them. Has a shop that opens and they salvage things, or you can donate things and they sell them really cheap. So I paid 50p each for those. And there's a story, which is why I was so excited that I found them, but I'll show you in a moment. And then underneath the table, I just have this vintage box that my husband actually picked up from a boot sale. My husband really likes old boxes, so we tend to collect them when we see them. And I just put some fake white peonies in there, and that little teddy bear is actually my husband's teddy bear from when he was little, so he just lives there. I do love a teddy bear. The older the better. I just think they're so sweet. So this is a little up close. These are my antique keys. I love a skeleton key. They were wonderful. And then this is like my little cameo kind of thing. Bought that from a boot sale. This looks really dusty, but that's just on the inside where the velvets kind of come loose and just collected on the glass. So I do clean, but that's just inside the glass, and it's not worth me taking it apart and potentially damaging it, because there we go. And then this is a little up close of my timeless teddy and my cushion. And if you're wondering the jumper for my teddy, it's a Dalek from Doctor Who, and the reason being because my sister was actually a huge Doctor Who fan, and she had a Dalek tattooed on her foot. So when I came to look for a little jumper for my little teddy bear to wear, I found this one on Vinted that someone had handmade, and I was like, I definitely need that. So that's why. And I am a little bit sad. I do actually have other clothes for this bear, and I will dress the bear differently for different seasons. So currently he's got some Christmas pajamas. I'm going to get him a little autumnal scarf and things like that, just so that when my house is decorated, Teddy can be part of the decor as well. And then down there we just have this little box, these flowers and these teddies. And these are my dried alliums, which I love. So my second favourite thing in my living room is my fireplace. I adore fireplaces. When we first left our old home, we had a huge fireplace, and I missed it. I missed having a mantelpiece. I am a huge seasonal decorator, and I really struggled not having a mantelpiece to dress for certain seasons. So I started having a look for different fireplaces and different mantles, and I came across this one, just this, on Facebook. Someone was giving it away for free. It was white, it had been handmade, and they just needed it gone. It's very hollow, and they'd actually built it with like a hole in the top so you could hide your TV wires, which I thought was brilliant because we did actually need somewhere to put our TV. Disclaimer, I'm not a TV person. If I lived alone, I wouldn't own a TV. But my husband is, so we have the TV, it's fine. I think at some point I'd like to maybe make a frame to go around it, but that's neither here nor there. That can be a future project, but for now it's fine. It's fine. So I gave my friend Meg, if you're watching, hi Meg, you're the best, a little bit of money to go and collect this for me because she has a van. So she went and got this for me. She very kindly brought it home for me, and I just customized it. I painted it black. I bought this little not embroidery, that's fabric. What's it called? Like carving thing? I don't know. The name's escaped me. Off Amazon, glued it, painted it. And then we attached it to the wall because we knew we were going to have the TV on top. My husband actually screwed it to the wall so that it didn't disappear. We got 2 large slate slabs from B&Q. These are from the garden section, and we put these underneath so that it had something to kind of lean on. And it stayed like that for ages. And then I had the idea that actually I really wanted to have a candle mound. So I created one. And this has been an absolute labour of love. I've spent so much money on candles. I've spent so much time sat melting and sitting with the candles while they burn to get to this point, and now it looks wonderful. We're still not there. I still need some here and I need to kind of build it. But yes, I do light the candles. I don't light all of them at once, but I do light a significant amount of them. And in the winter, I can have that burning and shut the door and not need the radiators on if we're only in this room. But you do have to keep an eye on it. So if you're going to do something similar, please do not leave your room, and have some water on hand just in case. I don't want anyone burning their house down and blaming me. You do have to be very careful with it. But I, touch wood, haven't had an issue with it so far. But I love the look of it. I love the look of it even when it's not burning, like just like this. I think it looks wonderful. And it's always a statement piece. When people walk through the door, they're always like, oh my God, like, do you actually like that? That looks wonderful, looks beautiful. So it is interesting, and it's something a little bit unique. I love it. Then I wanted a curb, because this was all open and my wax was just running right the way down, and it became a lot of upkeep. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I could do with like a fireplace curb to put there and stop the wax. And on the day we'd gone to multiple antique stores, we found lots of curbs, and they were like, the cheapest one I found I think was £75, and I was like, I cannot justify spending £75 on something just to stop a bit of wax. So we came home, we were chilling, and I was just scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, as you do, and I came across this one for £25. We just had to travel a little bit. So I said to my husband, I was like, do you fancy a little drive? And he was like, I absolutely do. So we went. I think it took us about half an hour to get there, half an hour back. And it was filthy. It hadn't been looked after. I polished it. It is due another polish. You can see some bits are a lot shinier than others, but I will get to it. But yeah, I put that, and that actually collects any of the running wax now. So I love it, and I actually really like the kind of softness that it adds to it. I really like the gold, and it ties in with other gold aspects from the room as well. So that's lovely. This bellows I picked up from a boot sale. I think I must have paid about 50p a pound for it. Not very much at all, and I just placed that there. Then I purchased this primitive pipe box off Vinted. I didn't pay very much for it. I don't remember how much exactly, but this had been handmade by someone in the UK who also admires the primitive decor in America, and obviously we don't get these things here, and it's too expensive to import over. And I stuck that next to my fireplace, and I thought that would just look lovely with fresh candles in it. And then on the bottom here, I have my little boot scraper. This is a dachshund dog. And we pay £5 for him from the boot sale. And I'm under strict instructions that when my kiddo grows up and moves out, this goes with them. So, but it lives there for now. And then recently I purchased this rug from B&Q. I think it was only £22. It is technically a garden rug. It was in the garden section, but I just really liked it. I liked the brown and the black, and yeah, I've just put that just to soften the room slightly. Then moving over here, I just have this basket with my hydrangeas. They were originally in the little wooden jar. Vase, not jar, you silly girl. But yeah, that just lives there for now. Eventually I'd like to have a little cushion in the background just to kind of soften it slightly, but I'm happy with that for now. Then this behind here, I need you to kind of ignore. I should have probably moved it for the video, but it is what it is. My house is still lived in, and this is a lot of my craft stuff for this. Now I'm gonna go over and show you slightly. So this is my doll's house. It's very, very much a work in progress. But I love it. I have worked on dolls' houses for years. When I was a teenager in school, I used to buy rundown dolls' houses or get them for free, strip them, do them up and flip them for a profit. It was kind of my side hustle while I was at school. But I decided actually that I really wanted one for myself. I wanted one that I could decorate each year and, you know, just kind of have one to keep for me. So I found this one on Facebook, and at its state that it was in when I bought it, it looks very different. But at the state it was at the time that I bought it, it was worth about £600, and I got this thing for free. Now this is huge and it's heavy. I'll show you how tall I am next to it in a moment, but this is actually where a little bit of my weird girl comes out, because I am a spooky girl, and this is my haunted funeral home. Now I am also an undertaker as well. I do work in the funeral industry and I really love ghosts. Anytime anyone's got a ghost story, I love going ghost hunting. Anything that's spooky I adore. So I kind of have combined the like three of my favourite things, which is dollhouse miniatures, the funeral industry and spookiness, hauntings together. No, I am doing this in a very delicate way. I don't want anyone to kind of think that I've pulled any inspiration from any of my funeral homes or the funeral industry as a whole. I haven't. The funeral industry is a lovely, wonderful place to work. There's nothing really ominous or haunting or spooky or anything like that. This is just me being my weird creative self. This is purposefully an art piece, but I do love it. So I don't have much that I've completed so far. So I've done like my outsides. I've painted all my brick, frosted my windows for my chapels of rest. I've got these miniature headstones. I've fixed all the windows, fixed my door, did all of that. Currently I have a mini mortuary. So I made my fridges at the back. I made my little embalming table. I've even got my little aircon in there as well. I made a little blind, and then I have like my coffin shop / dressing room. One of my female directors actually made this little coffin for me, which is wonderful. And then yeah, I don't really have a lot more that's kind of done in there. But this tends to be a winter project. So in the summer I kind of move outside, work on my garden, and in the winter I come back and work on this. So yeah, maybe that could be a different thing for a different time, but I do have a video on my YouTube of what this looked like when I first bought it home and how it looks different now. But yeah, that's something we can follow at a later date. And then in the corner here, I just have a little corner unit with the same mirror as the other side, my little Phantom of the Opera monkey and a little tin. Then I have one of my sofas here. I also have some like Lego and things like that. Again, it's not perfect, my home's lived in, so we just kind of ignore that. But I have my blankets, my cushions. I have this painting here that I got from the tip shop. I added to it because it was all scratched. I don't really like it. Eventually I will end up reusing the frame, but I would love like a cupboard or a shelf here. I see the primitive ladies have like apothecary cabinets on their walls, and I love that. But they're very expensive here in England, so we'll see what will happen, but that's just there for now. Then here I have my little side table. This side table I got for free off Facebook. And then on it I have my next vase with my florals. I think these florals were from Primark about three years ago. My antique checkerboard. So I'd been hunting for a checkerboard for months. Couldn't find one, and then I found two at once. So I've got two checkerboards in this room. I'll show you in a while. And then I have my other Yankee Candle thing, cup, tea light holder, that's what it's called. over here. Now the reason that I was so ecstatic when I found these was because of this. So I purchased this from Yankee Candle shop when I was a teenager. It came to our old house, it was on the mantle, it fell, it broke, it shattered. And then for years I couldn't find the exact replacement. Until recently, I found it on Vinted, someone was selling it, and I was like, I'm going to take a gamble on it, see whether it arrives to me in one piece. It did, and I was ecstatic because I love it. And Yankee Candle don't do these kind anymore. They do a lot of like metal. And I just love the way that these twinkle when you've got your candle burning in there. So this was in the post en route to me when we went to the tip shop and found these, which were from the matching set. So I was just overjoyed. I was really, really happy. Like I couldn't have found them at a better time. And now I've got some little matchy matchies, which is lovely. And then underneath, I like to have little things that are kind of tucked away that you don't necessarily see straight away. And this is one of them. So I have another Fortnum and Mason basket on its side here. You can see the F&M there. Then I have this little basket on top, which I got from a boot sale. I think I paid about 50p a pound. And then some fake eucalyptus. And then I have my Halloween cat at the back. I just love him. His eyes do light up. There is a button underneath, but I just like him as he is. I just kind of feel like he's there guarding the house and judging everyone who visits secretly until you notice that he's there. So yeah, that's that. It's cute. I like it. So yeah. So then if we close the door, we have a dresser behind the door. Oh dear, with life poking out of the drawer. We can't be having that killing the aesthetic. So this is my dresser. And I love this dresser because my friend Meg, oh look, there's me, hi. My friend Meg, who bought the Fireplace to my house for me, we were at work the one day and she mentioned that she had some furniture in her van that she was taking to the tip for someone who had paid her. And I was like, absolutely not. Are we getting rid of furniture on my watch? If it's usable, let me see. So we went and looked, and there was this dresser which was broken. It was in two separate halves and the doors were broken. And she also had this little table. And I was like, absolutely not, Megan. Drop this off at my house immediately. I will have this from you. So she brought it to my house, which she was grateful for because it saved her a trip to the tip. And she got rid of it really quickly. I scrubbed it all down, fixed it all, painted it black, put the gold knobs on. And this has kind of become our travel unit. So in the bottom, and you can see underneath there, I have like my MacBook and my iPad peeking out. But in the drawers here, I have all of my craft stuff. So I am a crafter, a scrapbooker. So all of that's in there, along with some other bits. And then this is just our travel shelf. So this is where I want to put all of our memories for travel. So we have our photo frames here of abroad holidays with little trinkets. And then some like vintagey bits and bobs. This is another box that my husband found at the boot sale actually. I think we paid about £2-3 for this box. But it was worth it for all of the little writing, and I just have an old postcard in there for now. So yeah, that's lovely. This I got off Temu. I would love an original lace doily, but again, I haven't found one yet, so a fake one's fine for now until I'm able to swap out. Then I have this little figure and a Yankee Candle burner with vanilla tart. You've always got to be having vanilla because it is the best scent in my opinion. And then my little miner's lamp looking thing. And then on the top I just have my Pussy Willow sprigs just to add a little bit of softness. Then over here is the table. This table was wonderful because when I brought my dining table into this room, I our old table was far too big, so we didn't really have enough space. So this is smaller, just for the three of us. I love it. It's wonderful. It's warm. These chairs I'm happy with for now. But eventually I think I would like to swap the black ones out for some authentic brown ones, but I quite like the way they look at the moment. This chair was an absolute bargain. £2 we paid for this off the boot sale, and it's an old school chair with like the little tray. So I just placed some Timu flowers in there just to soften it, and I just love it. It's really unique, it's really wonderful, and it's just got a really cute vibe to it. Then on here I have my placemats. These are just 3 black ones from Next, but I did purchase them off Vinted. I have my other checkerboard, which I was telling you about there. I have my Oliver Bonus bunnies. I'm a huge bunny lover, so I have lots of bunnies dotted around the house. I have my vintage scales, which I paid £1 for from the car boot sale, with 2 battery powered scented pillar candles and some little eucalyptus that I just wrap around as well. And then on the back here I have my 3 mirrors. Now again, these are outdoor mirrors, but I just really like the way that they look, and originally I had these in my downstairs toilet, but I didn't really like the way that I decorated my downstairs toilet, so I've pulled them out. That's a work in progress at some point as well. But I really like these here because I didn't like the big blank space. And I like that the light kind of comes in, hits them and throws it around the rest of the room. So that's that. And then here, I'm not going to get too close to this because of the contents that I have on there. But this is a bookshelf that I purchased off Facebook Marketplace. £40 I paid for this, and the guy was able to deliver it for me. Perfect, amazing. But again, this came and it was brown. I painted it black to match the rest of the furniture. And this is just going to be full of our memories. We've got lots of photos on here, a lot of stuff from when my kiddo was little, wedding photos, family photos, things like that. The basket on top currently holds photos that are printed, but I don't have frames for yet. So that's going to be a good few boot sale finds. But yeah, this is going to look lovely when this is full. And on here actually, I do have another teddy bear. But this is actually my mum's teddy bear from when she was little. And she very kindly gave her to me to look after. So she's sat on there away from little fingers at the moment. But yeah, so this is actually my living room tours complete. That as well, I said I'd come back to. That actually stores all of my miniatures for my doll's house as well. So that's what that's there for. If ever it can serve a purpose, it will serve a purpose. There we go. So that's my first little video done. I hope it was interesting. I hope some people find it interesting enough to watch and sit through and watch the whole thing. I hope that I've kind of inspired a few people. I definitely want to be doing more, especially some seasonal stuff as well when the time rolls round. I'm very big into Halloween and autumn. I'm very, very big into Christmas. I do decorate seasonally, so I also decorate for spring and Easter and Valentine's Day as well. So yeah, stick around. Thank you if you have stuck it out. I've had fun. I've had a fun morning. And hopefully I'll see you again. Thank you. Bye.